Hello, welcome to Tuesday Tea Time. What a great day for tea. I hope you got your tea. We're here for you. We develop tea time for busy professionals who have to-do lists, and the top of the to-do list is personal professional development, but it always falls off. It's the first thing to fall off everyone's to-do list. So that's why we develop Tuesday tea times for short 20-minute little bite-sized bits of wisdom and skills and strategies to manage yourself professionally and personally, and to carry with you throughout your week. My name's Megan Novazic. I'm the founder and CEO of Leadership Within. We at Leadership Within are here to guide you on a transformative journey within to reach your highest potential. We believe that everyone has the influence to impact change. Therefore, leadership's more than just a title. Like many of you, I was burnt out after COVID, and I've had to get to the root of it. I saw lots of great people leaving the profession, and our goal with this platform is to retain talented professionals and grow and inspire future leaders. So we're going to focus the first four sessions are going to be on burnout and getting to the core of burnout and how, if you are burnt out, if you're feeling overwhelmed or tired, you're not sure, you feel stuck, but you're not sure what the next move has to be. Those are all the beginning signs of a feeling of being burnt out. So our goal is to arm you with strategies and skills that you can adapt quickly and utilize throughout the week. So today we're going to start out with underneath burnout are some key addictions, and those addictions are people-pleasing, perfectionism, and approval-seeking. And so underneath those addictions are stories that we tell ourselves that we don't realize until there's a crisis at hand and they come to the surface. So our goal for this week is to identify some stories that we might be telling ourselves that are limiting our potential and creating burnout. So I'm going to share my screen and to get started. So the purpose of this is we're going to venture off the beaten path of burnout, and we're going to remap our thoughts by reshaping the stories we tell ourselves to reach our highest potential. So the stories we tell, we don't really know what those stories are. They usually start when we're early in our childhood, and we don't realize that they're on this constant repeat pattern in our brains over and over again, and they're actually limiting our potential until there's a crisis at hand, whether it be burnout or a health crisis. And then we start to unravel those stories. So today we're going to look at certain areas of our lives and look at potential stories that we might be telling ourselves that might be contributing to the burnout. Let's see here. When did you get to the next? There we go. So first off, we have stories that we tell ourselves about other people. And the law of attraction is you get what you give, you get what you see is what you get. And this picture is, you could see this two different ways. You can either see a pretty lady, young lady looking off into the distance with a hat and a feather on her cap, or you could see an older lady with a big nose and a hood and a jacket on looking at you. So the stories we tell ourselves about other people is what we're going to get. So if we're thinking that people are untrustworthy, that they're unsafe, that they lie, then that's really what we're going to get back to us. But if we give people the benefit of the doubt, have a generous, optimistic view of people, the majority of people have good intentions, then that's what we'll give back to ourselves. So this week, think about when you see somebody that sparks a nerve, or you're agitated with somebody that you routinely talk with, think about what story you might be telling yourselves and how you might be creating that energy that that person brings to the table. So the stories we tell ourselves about other people are really setting ourselves up for success as well as those around us. So the second area we're going to talk about stories are the stories we tell ourselves. And those we've been saying for all of our life, starting when we were little kids. I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too short, I'm too tall, my hair's too frizzy, it's not straight enough. You know, I'm not athletic enough, I'm not graceful enough. All those stories are on a continuous loop underneath the surface, and they're talking to us about who we think we are, not who we really are. And then they're actually limiting our potential. So how we talk to ourselves, how we criticize ourselves, how we call ourselves names or get down on ourselves, how we view mistakes, how we view ourselves when we make a mistake. Those are all stories we tell ourselves that have to do with our potential and contribute to burnout. So if we look at mistakes as something bad we've done, and shame ourselves, then we limit our potential. But if we flip that switch and look at mistakes as opportunities for growth or stepping stones to success, or the only way we can grow is by learning from mistakes, then that changes the whole dynamic and energy and elevates us up to another level of success. So our stories can either dampen our success or they can elevate us to a new level of success. So the good news is you can always remap your story. It's just learning to identify them. So when you're feeling down or dull, or you feel that sense of anger, frustration, or wanting to give up, those are great indicators to ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it a story about others? Is it a story about myself? And can I change that story? So I like this cartoon because it shows two different people in the same spot enjoying the same view, but told themselves two different stories to get there. And so the man who's on the rope, who's sweating and struggling, he told himself the only way to get to the view at the top of the mountain is climbing up this rope and struggling all the way to the top. Well, the other man told himself a story of, I'm not going to climb up that hill. There's got to be a better way. And he went around the back and asked a few people some questions and then found a path and then wound up at the top of the mountain. So it's a great example of how the stories we tell ourselves shape where we're at and the effort we have to put out. So just think about that when you're struggling and putting out a lot of energy and effort. What story am I telling myself? So, boundaries are another story we tell ourselves around boundaries. Growing up, lots of times we're told to always say yes. But saying yes and helping is polite. Saying no is rude. You can't say no. But when it comes to burnout, we usually have so much on our plate that we can't get things done that we want to get done that are important to us. And that's the number one reason for burnout, is having too much on our plate and we don't know how to get it done. So there is a principle called the Zegerberg effect, where if you've completed a task, your brain lets it go. But if it's uncompleted, your brain will keep telling yourself stories about the task over and over and over again, creating anxiety and overwhelm and stress in your life. So writing a list is good. And then also asking your boss to help you prioritize. You don't need to be a slacker, but you want to ask them, what do I need to focus on? Here's the 10 things I had to do. I have this much time this week. What can wait till next week? And what do you want at the top priority? So having transparent conversations and knowing that your best yes, that it's okay to say no, that we can change that story to retell ourselves a new story about setting boundaries, that boundaries are healthy, that boundaries make us successful, boundaries help us focus, boundaries keep us healthy. So, those are some of the stories that we tell ourselves that shape our success and create burnout in our lives. So I challenge you this week. Thanks for showing up. I'm so glad you came. These are short 10-minute bites of information to help you carry throughout your week. And this week, I challenge you to identify stories in the areas of stories you tell yourself about other people, stories you tell yourselves about yourselves, stories you tell yourself about boundaries, and see if you can start identifying those stories that are coming up. So that's the challenge for this week. Look forward to seeing you next week, and we're going to dive into boundaries.